Hello everybody, this is my 35th review of films to come out in 2025, and today we are talking about The Fantastic Four: First Steps. Why did they add the First Steps part? It's just clunky. But anyways, this was directed by Matt Shankman, who I believe directed the entirety of WandaVision. So, would I recommend Fantastic Four: First Steps? If you really like Marvel movies, or you really like these characters, have just been waiting for a good Fantastic Four movie, then yes. If you don't feel that way, if you don't care about these characters or Marvel films, then probably not. Personally, I thought it was just fine. I enjoyed it overall, and I think I'll go into what I liked about the film first before I get into my critiques. In general, I thought the spectacle scenes, the big action moments were really entertaining. There's a part of this movie where the characters are traveling through interstellar space. They have some really great action set pieces in space. Those were awesome. Genuinely, some of the best I feel that Marvel has done up to this point. The characters, I would say, are all likable, and I definitely felt by the end of the movie that I'm interested to see what they do with them next. I particularly liked The Thing. The music by Michael Giacchino I thought was really good. Some people thought it was too repetitive and reused the main theme too much. I honestly didn't take any issue with that. I feel like Marvel has always lacked great scores, and I thought this was one of their best. I thought this was really strong. The retro futuristic aesthetic I thought was pretty cool. I liked a lot of the production design and the film's color palette overall. That's pretty much my main points in terms of what I liked about it, so let's get into the critiques. My main critique is, while I like the characters, I didn't feel much of a connection to them. This movie has a very long first act, but it almost feels like a trailer. This movie was apparently cut down, which I'll talk about more in a second, but it just feels like despite having a lot of setup, this movie needed to do a better job of having me understand these characters from the get-go. Who are they? What do they struggle with? What are they like? What are their powers even? I think the movie expects you just kind of know these characters already because, it's an iteration of Fantastic Four, but it's new. It's a reiteration of these characters, and I think it needed to spend more time explaining them. And yeah, the film was edited down too. Apparently there's a lot that was cut from this film, and while I hate that blockbusters keep having these overly long runtimes right now, I think this could have benefited from a longer runtime. Honestly, I think this would have worked best as a miniseries. It even feels like it has appropriate moments of the story that would have worked really well as cliffhangers. There's portions of this movie that could have been individual episodes of a show. I think it would have worked really well that way. I need to talk about spoilers now, so if you don't want to be spoiled for the movie, go see it. But basically, the conflict of the film is a villain named Galactus is going to destroy the Earth, and the Fantastic Four try to stop him. They negotiate, and his response is, "I'll leave the Earth alone if I get to kill your unborn son." Sue Storm, or Vanessa Kirby, has a baby with Mr. Fantastic, Pedro Pascal's character in this movie. And the Fantastic Four say no to Galactus' request, and then they come back to Earth and basically say, yeah, we didn't stop him, he said he wanted to kill our son in exchange for the Earth, and we said no. And obviously that makes everybody on Earth hate them. It's a very dumb moment in the movie. But the moment I liked even less was when Vanessa Kirby's character brings her baby in front of an angry mob of people who all want it dead and says she has a new plan but doesn't specify what it is. The new plan is to just teleport the Earth, which everybody rolls with for some reason. Even though that sounds insane, but it doesn't work either, so then they just teleport Galactus during a big fight at the end, which I found very unsatisfying. I honestly thought Galactus actually destroying the Earth would have made a much better ending and would have been a great hook for a sequel or a part 2. I know people don't like part 2s, but this movie is so underdeveloped that I think it could have used one. I think if we were told that this was just the first half of a story, I would have accepted the more underdeveloped aspects of the story. I also have one big issue with the characters in general, which is that they don't really have arcs. The only character that has a real arc in this movie is the Silver Surfer, which again felt very underdeveloped. Her redemption just kind of comes out of nowhere. Pedro Pascal has a thing where he's thinking, should we give up this baby? Maybe that's the best thing. And he has this conflict with Sue Storm, but it doesn't really go anywhere. Because at the end of the day, he's able to save the Earth without ever deciding to make a sacrifice, so it doesn't feel like any aspect of his character is really tested. Like, it never really feels like his character has to make a hard choice or anything. He just eventually figures out a way to make it all work. Sue Storm doesn't really have a character arc at all. Human Torch wants to sacrifice himself at one point, but doesn't. The Thing accepts his catchphrase, I guess. That's the closest thing he has to an arc. There are a lot of really fun moments in the movie, but overall, I just had a lot of issues with it. I'm gonna give this a very low 3 stars out of 5. Tomorrow, I will make a review for Together, directed by Michael Shanks. Matt Shankman, Michael Shanks. Interesting coincidence. So stay subscribed to see the review for that. In the description, I will put a link to my Letterboxd list ranking all the movies I've seen of 2025. Here's the ranking so far, here is where Fantastic Four is, and there is the rest of the films I've seen. There should also be a link to the YouTube playlist of all of my 2025 film reviews. You can also find that on my channel page and right here on the left of your screen. Thank you for watching. Comments and likes are very much appreciated. They help boost me in the algorithm. And that's all I gotta say. See ya.